Hello and welcome to part 6 of the realistic Mickey head tutorial set. When last I left you, had done the ears and got most of the external modeling all set for the most part. And in this part 7, or excuse me, this part 6, we're going to get in and start doing the inside of the mouth. So before I jump on the actual model and do that, I'm going to go to a new layer. And we're going to create the teeth and gums and everything in this new layer. Then we'll bring them over and attach them to the head model. So I'm going to go ahead and turn off our background images. Just click that little check mark there. And I'm going to go Shift S cursor to center. Shift A, add a cube. And this is going to be our teeth. Actually, this will be the gum line. So let's just tab in edit mode here. And let's add a dividing line there in the middle. Control R adds a loop. So good to go. Scale this way down. And I'm going to go ahead and use the mirror modifier. Oops. Delete the vertices, not the faces. There we go. Use the mirror modifier on this. There we go. And let's select that and make it a little thinner that way. Okay. And now there's a little trick. You can extrude out and move it and rotate it if you want to. But there's a little bit quicker way. You just hold down Control and click, and it'll automatically extrude and curve it around the way you need it to. So this will be roughly the gum line there. Okay, so we'll come into front view. I'll tell you what I want to do for the gums. I'm going to go ahead and delete the top row of faces there because we won't need those, and it'll make things a little easier later on when we start texture mapping. So I'm going to go ahead and have this where it kind of starts smoothing down. Scale that a little smaller. And we need to go ahead and turn on clipping there. Okay, move this in. I think. There we go. Okay, so now there are 32 teeth in the adult human mouth. Assuming you've had your wisdom teeth taken. Is that with or without wisdom teeth? I don't recall. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8, 16, 30. Yeah, it's without wisdom teeth apparently. So, or no, that's with. Okay, I guess that's with your wisdom teeth. I still have the wisdom teeth on the top, so we're just going to model, I guess, 28 of them. So we will do actually just the main front teeth and then a couple of the molars. We won't. This is not going to be a dental diagram type of model, so we'll just do enough to fill up his mouth when he smiles. So, anyways. I'd like to add a little section here for each tooth that we're going to do. So there'll be basically 4 across the front. So we're just going to do half of those. So this will be the front teeth, and then this will be the bicuspids. I don't remember the names of the teeth. Then the canines, the premolars. Oops. And then a couple of normal molars. Okay, so I guess this will work. Now, the reason I did that is because I want to add some loops. Actually, let's just do this. Hold down Control and Alt. Deselect everything. Control and Alt, and just click on, and hold down Shift also. Control, Alt, Shift, all 3 of those buttons. And then just select each one of these edges like so. Then we're going to go W subdivide. Okay, so now I want to select, actually let's add one more loop in here. I'm going to select every other row like so. Okay, and this will be, we'll make these a little fatter. So Alt S, so we'll scale that out, and you can see that's going to be kind of the ridged area where the teeth, the roots of the teeth are. Let me go ahead and add a subdivision surface on this as well. Set it to smooth shading. There we can go. Okay, so now let's go ahead and add a loop up here. So we can kind of grab that very top row, maybe scale it, Alt S, make it a little wider. So we kind of got the gum line coming down here. And now the roots of the teeth are going to be where the teeth are up in there. So we want the actual bottom part to be going up. So I'm just going to select each one of these. That was my my office door. The heater just kicked on and the air pressure changed and it pulled it too. So click! That was the office door. Okay, so we'll raise those up so the teeth have a place to go up into. Okay, then maybe we'll select this row there. Maybe GG, hit G twice. There we go. And now we got some gums. All right, so now we'll start working on the teeth themselves. I'm going to go ahead and create a new model for that. So Shift A, create a new cube. It's going to be our front tooth. We want to keep these kind of as basic as possible. We don't need to add a lot of detail to them, just the basic tooth shape. We're not going to really see him that much. Even when he smiles, it's just going to be, you know, just a hint of the coloration in there. Another sip of coffee. So we're going to tab into edit mode, scale that way down, and then come to front view. And let's go ahead and turn on the mirror as well. We're not going to turn on clipping just yet because I need to move that over here, and we're going to start adding those around the gum line there. Go ahead and turn on subdivision surface. So we'll tab into edit mode now, and then we can move that over, and you can see we can actually do both sides of the mouth at the same time. So the tooth is not going to be a cube. The molars are more cube shaped, but the front teeth, obviously, as you know, are more flat shaped. So we'll just grab the bottom parts there, kind of sharpen it up, and go to our top view and add a couple of loops there. Scale those on the x-axis, and grab the outer edges, bring those back a little bit, scale those on the y-axis just a bit, so about like so. And then we'll grab the top, go and extrude it up a little bit on the z-axis and scale it down. This will be the roots of the teeth. You don't really need to see that up in there, so let me undo that. Okay, so this will be our front teeth. I'm going to grab the edges here, move those up just a bit. And before I go any further, I'm going to add a seam around this, because when we go to texture map it, I don't want to have to go to each individual tooth and add all the seams to all of them. So I'm just going to do it on this first one, and then every time we clone this tooth or duplicate it, it will already have the seams on it. So what I'm going to do is add a loop around here and deselect these ones on the top, because I don't want the tooth to have two separate pieces to its well, you know what, let's do it on the bottom. Let's deselect that. We don't want the seam there. Okay, so I don't have two separate pieces on the UV map for the teeth. We just want each tooth to have one piece. So I'm going to go Control E, mark the seam, and there we go. So now we can start lining it up a little bit better according to the gums. Maybe make it a little more narrow. Bring it in here. We want to get it as close to the center as possible, but we don't want it to overlap, because once we turn on clipping, it'll kind of glue together, and it just won't look that great. So let's go and turn on smooth shading there, so kind of see a little better. Let's go ahead and grab the gums again. Grab that back row along the bottom, and let's scale that up a little, or maybe Alt S. There we go. Make that a little more narrow, and then maybe drag it down on the Z-axis there. Okay, so that looks a little better. It's only got two teeth. Okay, so we'll grab the teeth, and let's go ahead and turn off clipping. We don't need those to, there's no reason for those to be glued together in the middle, because they're separate pieces. So we don't even need, you can turn off the merge limit, or set it way down so they don't start merging in the middle. So you can see they're merging there, but that's okay, because we can still turn it down. They're still merging here and there, so let's just set that all the way to 0. There we go. Okay, so now tab back in edit mode, maybe bring those down just a bit, and let's go to our top view and Shift D, duplicate this, rotate it around a little bit, go back to our front view, scale it down just a bit, maybe drag it a little further. Okay, and then one more. This will be the incisor. Basically, I know the gums are rounded, but this is basically the corner of the teeth, as it were, before they start turning into molars. So let's go ahead and sharpen that up. Grab this part here, drag that down, scale it down, sharpen it. And maybe grab these edges, drag those up. Okay. Starting to look like a vampire, sort of. Okay, so we'll grab that and go ahead and duplicate that. And this will be the first molar type of tooth. So it's also going to be, according to my teeth, it's not as sharp as the canine, but it's got a little bit of a point to it, more so than the other molars. But obviously we need to thicken it up. So let's select the whole thing. Let's just move it out over here by itself for a second and turn it sideways so we can actually add width to it. Sometimes if your mouse goes off screen, it'll go crazy. And then maybe these guys, about like so, and then maybe drag them down. Then we'll grab these guys and drag that up. Okay, so that's all right. Okay, so we'll tab back into edit mode, select this whole guy, and I'm going to Shift D. I'm going to duplicate that over here and position that the way I want it. A little bit further around. Actually, this canine tooth probably needs to be a little thicker as well. Let's make that Shift X. Actually, let's just grab these parts here. Just move those like so. And it's a little too sharp, I guess. Let's grab the faces so we can see what we're doing a little better. And let's turn off proportional editing for now. Okay, that's a little bit better. Like I said, this is not going to be a dental diagram of what the teeth should look like. So as long as they look pretty close, we should be fine. Okay, so the other two molars, just take off of this one, make it a little bit bigger, and then make it a little less sharp there. Just drag that up. And okay, maybe make it a little more rounded there, and maybe a little like so. Okay, good to go. All right, so this one and the very last one will be roughly the same. So we'll just duplicate that like so. Come to our side view. And those will be okay. So we've got our basic mouth. Looks like a little too wide. Like I said, the canine kind of needs to be the corner, if you will. So let's reshape the teeth until they get about to the right place, and then we can reshape the gums around them. So about like so, and then grab the just that tooth. There we go. Rotate that a little more. Okay, so that's a little better. Maybe even more. Let's grab this one, move him in. This one as well. And of course this one, line him back up. And tell you what, let's grab these whole guys, move them back a little bit. And then maybe this guy, rotate him around, make him a tiny bit smaller. Okay, that'll work. Let's move them all a little closer together. We don't want too many gaps between them. So let's just grab these front two here, front view, and move them ever so slightly closer together. Actually, could probably do a little bit of overlap. There we go. If we do overlap, you want to make sure it overlaps far enough to where once we merge it with the actual head, the mirror merge limit settings on the head, because those will take over. You want to make sure that our teeth aren't glued together in the middle. We still want them to be separate, so we might have to fix that once we add them to the head. So just keep that in mind. So let's grab this guy, move him over so he's actually up against the tooth. There we go. Same thing on this one. Rotate him a tad bit. There we go. And then the molars are pretty well set with each other, but we need to go ahead and move them a little closer this way. And there we go. Okay, so now we can take the gums and let's hit the period button so it's scaling and rotating around the 3D cursor. And we'll just scale that down like so. Then maybe just kind of scale it on the x-axis a little bit too. There we go. Maybe a little bit further on the y-axis. And let's try to get these divisions lined up a little bit better. This one should actually... I think I've got one too many, to be honest, so I'm going to get rid of 2 of those, actually. And that one. Okay. And this one, let's go ahead and hit G twice, just slide that down. And that'll be between them, and then this will be for the next one. And the divider between. And yes, okay. So now we have an accurate number there. So what we can do now is grab these ones that are in between the teeth. Actually, I guess I deleted one too many. Let's add one more right there. Okay. And we can grab the ones in between each tooth and drag that down and have a nice gum line coming down between the teeth. Like so, and of course we need to puff it out a little bit. So let's select each one of these shorter ones. That's where the roots are. Probably should have saved all that sculpting the gum line until we actually had the teeth in there. So we'll just make that a little bigger and just drag it up, scale it on the z-axis. Looking a little weird here, so let's drag these guys down. Maybe these guys over a bit. Okay, I think that'll probably be fine for the top row of teeth. Move this. Let's turn on a proportional editing there. Move that back a little bit. Bet you if we turn these subdivisions into 2, it'll look even better. Yeah. They kind of look swollen though, don't they? The gums. Select those, Alt-S, scale them down just a bit. Nitpicky details. Those are the ones that take forever to finish. A little constant tweaking. Okay. Sorry this is taking so long. It's like it doesn't look quite right, so I want to adjust it, and then that takes 20 minutes, and then... Nice part about this, though, is once we get the top situated, the bottom, we can just duplicate the top and just modify it slightly. Excuse me. Dry throat. Okay, sorry, I had to pause for a second. My throat was going nutso, so didn't want you to have to listen to that. So anyways, let's get in here and try to finish up these teeth. Not liking the canine tooth area. Scale that up. go ahead and control comma so we're rotating around the 3D cursor. This tooth is bothering me just a bit. That up a little. Okay, we'll call that done. Let's move the gum line up the very top of it a little bit. So if we smile real big, we don't have to worry about accidentally showing the top edge there. Okay, so now, like I said, we can just copy this to the bottom for the bottom row of teeth, Shift D, and let's just rotate it 180. Usually I mirror it, but that causes problems with the normal maps sometimes, so just rotate it this time, and then we'll just work on the right side instead. So what we need to do to make this the bottom teeth is we'll tab in, grab the teeth, tab into edit mode, and the biggest difference from between the top and bottom teeth are the front teeth here. They're a little more narrow. And a little smaller. So we'll just move those into place like so. Then the rest of the teeth are fairly similar. They just fit in a little bit smaller, like so. Maybe a little shorter. Let's go to our top view. Move that in. Maybe rotate it around just a bit. So the top view, or the bottom teeth kind of fit inside the top teeth. Let's go to this row here. Let's rotate everything like so. Maybe grab the molars there on the back. Get those up. Okay, and then of course the gums will need to be a little smaller as well. So we'll scale those down. And move them over. To about right there. And of course we'll need to tweak them a little bit. Let's deselect these front teeth area here, front row. And we can drag these out a little more accurately. Deselect the, oops, deselect, deselect. And that one looks all right. And that one, we'll just, Control 3 goes to the left view. Remember, 3 goes to your side view. Control 3 goes to the opposite side view. Same thing for 1 goes to the front view. Control 1 goes to the rear. 7 goes to the top. Control 7 goes to the bottom. So it's a good way to keep everything quickly accessible. All the views. Keyboard shortcuts save you tons of time. I don't know, tons. But they certainly make things easier. Okay, so that's looking okay. Let's go ahead and this is kind of bugging me here. Okay, I think that'll work. Okay, so let's grab these two guys, move them up a little closer. There, okay, he's got his mouth closed. So now, tell you what I'm gonna do. I need to drag these a little further back. Oopsie. There we go. Maybe make everything a little shorter as well. I want them to fit nicely inside the top teeth. Maybe these. There. Okay. So now when you choose, you know, it'll rotate his jawline around and everything. So now that I've finished the bottom row, I'm going to hide that top row just so we can see the bottom by itself. I actually do want the mesh data to actually be on the right side instead of the left. So see, now it's over there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and apply this mirror, and I'm going to grab this one, go ahead and apply that one. Then we'll tab into edit mode and just go ahead and delete this half over here, and make sure you get all parts of it. There we go. Go ahead and delete that half, the vertices. And now we'll go ahead and add another mirror back to it. Pop that up to the top. Excuse me, pop that up to the top row. Now our mesh data is on the right side. And everything's good to go. So we just need to do the teeth now. So we'll do the same thing. Select all the guys on this side. We just have to select that much because this time we can go Control L and we'll select all the linked vertices that are part of that actual piece of mesh. And we go and delete those vertices. And we'll do the same thing, add another mirror. Pop that up to the top stack. And you can see what I was talking about with the merging there. So this is basically what the head mesh will have is 0.001 merge limit. So we want to modify our teeth to where they're not actually being glued together. So we'll just move them a little further across that line of merging. Okay, so now our teeth are good to go. Alt-H unhides. So let's select all 4 of these objects and move those to the same layer as our head, which everything disappeared, but that's because we're on the wrong layer now. So we hit this little layer there, this little orange dot, means that's the layer we're on. Or that means the layer that we have things selected on there. Okay, so now we can scale that down. Let's go to our wireframe view so we can see a little bit better. Scale it down, move it into place up here. And probably about right, maybe a little bigger, maybe about right there. We'll go to our side view and move that forward. And probably about right there. So you can see you can't see it through the skin, that's good. Back to wireframe view, and we're good to go. So now we'll just select this head mesh and go Control J, and it'll join them all together. So now if we select the head and turn off our mirror, you can see the teeth inside there. So it's good to go. Now I'm running way past the normal time that I would like. We're on 26 minutes and 39 seconds, so now. But we got the teeth done, so that's good to go. So in part 7, we'll just go ahead and do the rest of the inside of the mouth. All we got to do is just extrude in the loop from the lips, extrude that back, make it a little bigger, and then extrude it forward again for the tongue. So it won't take too long at all. And then we'll go ahead and start adding the seams after that. So let's go ahead and turn the mirror back on and go ahead and save this as part, excuse me, part 6. My throat, good Lord. Okay, yes, that's all for part 6. Sorry this one took a little longer than the others, but I think we got some good stuff covered. So teeth are all done. Just got to do the tongue inside the mouth. So we'll do that next time. See you then.